Tonight, the region's ambulance service is boosted, with new interns coming to the region, and a new COVID vaccination set to be available in the Spencer Gulf.
From our 7 Spencer Gulf studios, your nightly news with John Hunt begins now.
Good evening. The Spencer Gulf's ambulance services will be given a boost, with paramedic interns to train in the region. 14 recruits will make their way across regional South Australia as part of the graduated paramedic pathway.
Stepping in at the deep end of the job, 14 new candidates will spread out across regional South Australia as part of their training. Some of them will be based right here in the Spencer Gulf.
There's 11 sites right across the state who will be benefiting from these paramedic trainees. They started last week. It's an exciting time for them. It's an exciting time for the communities that they'll serve. 2
trainees will be based in Whyalla and Port Pirie, with Port Augusta and Port Lincoln hosting one each. The students, coming from the South Australian Ambulance Service's graduated paramedic pathway. The program also allowing experienced ambulance officers to gain a tertiary qualification for their work.
We've had problems recruiting people to regional ambulance services, and these people are taking up very key roles in a whole range of communities.
The Ambulance Employees Association welcoming the move, saying the program is an important one.
This is ambulance officers who are Certificate 4 trained. They're recruited and then study the paramedic degree over a period of 5 years.
However, the union emphasises the soon-to-be graduates will be replacing retiring paramedics and not adding additional capacity.
We do welcome them, but it needs to be made clear that these will not result in any additional ambulance resources and for our regions, and they are desperately needed.
Mark Zeta, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
The new Novavax vaccine will be made available for South Australians from next week in a bid to boost vaccination rates. The protein-based vaccine will give people more options when it comes to protecting themselves against COVID-19.
As demand for vaccines grows, a new one has entered circulation. Novavax will be available across the Spencer Gulf at selected GP clinics and pharmacies.
It's really an opportunity in particular for those last 5% who haven't yet committed to the vaccine program.
Risdon Pharmacy will start administering it from next week, with its introduction already sparking interest in the community.
The study that we have done recently, that actually tells us that number of people who have been vaccinated, there was no severe side effects been noted for a population like 27,000 people were in the trial.
Novavax is only recommended for people who haven't had any dose and has a shorter wait time of 3 weeks between its first and second shots. Further studies are still needed to see whether this vaccine is more effective than the others.
A lot of scientific interest in whether or not this vaccine may have less waning efficacy. In other words, it might have a more long-lasting impact.
Protein-based vaccines like Novavax are proven to be more gentle on the body compared to Pfizer and Moderna. Novavax is only available for people over the age of 18. Christian Komenos, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
A new COVID-19 walk-in PCR testing site has been established in Port Augusta. Authorities picking a location in the CBD, saying the move is aimed at encouraging more testing on the way home from work and school.
Swabbing for safety in Port Augusta. A PCR testing clinic is now occupying the old Centrelink building on Commercial Road.
Just off the main street, so it's very central. You don't have to go out of the city now to get a swab. You can quickly pull in, get a swab and be on your way.
Wonderful new space for our community. We offer the same service that we've offered at Puma, as in we do PCR testing here and we do our commercial rats.
This SA pathology testing site will be open 7 days a week from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m.
Very family friendly, good infection control, a nice safe place to come and have a swab.
Staff say they're excited to work in the larger space, confident the convenience will benefit those wanting a test.
By the time they're walking through the space and get to the swabbing stations, we've already got their details ready, and then they're coming straight in. We're getting them swabbed and they're out the door within 2 minutes.
No appointments or referrals are required to access the service.
Staff here are local, so they know the community and, part of SA Pathology, we're here to support our community.
Edward McCarroll, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
2 people will face court following a police search of a home in Whyalla. Officers allegedly found 30 grams of suspected methamphetamine, $2,000 cash, a baton and stolen property at the home early Wednesday morning. A 32-year-old man and a 29-year-old woman were charged with trafficking, theft by receiving and possession of a prohibited weapon. They will appear in court in April. Still to come tonight, Port Augusta ratepayers hear from their state election candidates, and South Australia's grain harvest set to generate top dollar. Welcome back. As we edge closer to the state election, Port Augusta has had the chance to ask the hard questions. The Ratepayers Association inviting party candidates to Central's football club for discussion and debate.
It might be state election time, but council rates remain top of the agenda in Port Augusta.
Would council then commit, whatever that turns out to be, to reduce rates?
With election lines redrawn and Port Augusta split across 2 electorates, candidates are coming to terms with the unique challenges the city faces. A number of them taking part in a pre-election debate, with antisocial issues also a hot topic.
Now, when I do that in Whyalla, the issue of antisocial behaviour, it does come up, but it doesn't come up anywhere near to the same degree that has come up here in Port Augusta.
If I was a tourist coming in here, and I saw some of the stuff that's happening in the main street, I would turn around and go away.
The conversation also turning to the region's renewable energy projects. Residents say it's unfair that they have rate-free occupancy.
From this year on, anybody who's got wind turbines out there, any renewable energy projects, then they will then contribute to the council in some form.
The mining minister says the decision on rate reductions is made purely by the Treasurer, regardless of who is in government.
As the Energy Minister, if we had rates on wind farms and solar farms and things like that, it would not impede the investment.
Edward McCarroll, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
South Australia's farmers have been rewarded with record harvest values and above average production in the past year. The data is part of the latest Crop and Pasture Report, which was released by the state government this week.
South Australian farmers reaping the benefits of what they sowed. The latest Crop and Pasture Report showing a record high $3.2 billion farm gate value from the 2021 to 22 harvest. The Grain Producers Association welcoming the news.
We're aware of the cool spring, which delivered very solid yields, and of course the pricing was exceptional throughout the year and remains so.
Despite challenging growing conditions, the record high is in combination with above average crop. Canola, one of the big performers.
We've actually been able to go out, get stuck in and produce a really good result for the state. It's an 8.3 million tonne result, which there's probably a bit of upside on that figure, I would imagine.
For a local Port Lincoln farmer, the results from the harvest come as no surprise to him.
We've done very well. The season's been great, and on top of that, we've had some great pricing as well. So, generally speaking, farming this year has done very well.
However, he also says the final total doesn't show the full picture, with some areas not so lucky.
So there are some areas that people have missed out, so things like frost areas, and there are some areas at the bottom of the peninsula here that got too wet in winter and then too dry in spring.
Mark Zita, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
The federal government has provided funding to communities in our region as part of the National Bushfire Recovery Fund. Several local townships affected by the Black Summer bushfires will now look to rebuild infrastructure.
It was a summer the region won't forget. 2 years ago, devastating bushfires ripped across the country. Many communities across South Australia are still trying to rebuild.
We have had a series of fires on Lower Eyre Peninsula, with, of course, the worst of them being in 2005, when we lost 9 lives and more than 80 houses and hundreds of sheds and just enormous damage.
A new $390 million program will help support affected communities. The grants can be put towards building new establishments.
In Midleton, 2.25 million for a childcare centre where they have been desperately working as a community to try and establish one.
Several councils in our region receiving funding.
And we've had a number of others on the outskirts of Port Lincoln in particular, but in that area where places have been lost. And so every affected council area would get at least some kickback from this particular fund.
Lower Eyre Peninsula Council securing $1.5 million for a new communication facility.
The Lower Eyre Peninsula Council, that it's all been channeled to one project. You get a bit of bang for your buck. And I think the project that's been selected, which is a 4X mobile-based mobile phone station to go out at Coulter.
Henry Millick, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Stay with us. Broken Hill residents learn about how to protect children from the dangers of the internet. And a new domestic violence safety centre opens in Port Lincoln. The Royal Flying Doctor Service has teamed up with the Dolly's Dream Foundation to help parents navigate their children's online habits. They ran a workshop in Broken Hill today to help them understand what their children may be keeping from them.
It's an educational tool, but the internet also has its dangers for young children. For parents, teachers and caregivers, knowing what to look for is critical to keep them safe.
Social media, it's an ever-evolving thing, I guess, and we're all going to be exposed to it, especially our young people.
Broken Hill residents today taking part in a workshop to bolster their skills. The program, run by the Dolly's Dream Foundation, a charity looking to change the culture of bullying in schools. Identifying harassment not the only thing on the agenda, with the event also dealing with online scams and social media. Experts say it's good to know what to look for when surfing the web.
Once you could leave school or leave issues somewhere, but now you're taking it home with you.
The RFDS Wellbeing Place also ran a workshop early in the week for children involved in School of the Air, along with remote parents and governesses.
Ryan from Dolly's Dream, who we've been dealing with, he is fantastic. He's a fantastic facilitator. We did some workshops yesterday with School of the Air and they were great, the way he can talk to students and adults.
While today was a one-off, the workshops could return in the future. If you or someone you know needs help, you can contact Headspace here in Broken Hill or ring Lifeline on 131114. Joshua Mercer, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
The Eyre Peninsula Landscape Board has rolled out its latest batch of soil carbon grants. 5 farmers applied for funding as a part of a regenerative agriculture program.
5 different grants to different applicants, looking at a range of things like application of gypsum, a lime, incorporation with and without inclusion plates, but also the use of cover crops.
The project awards funding of up to $8,000 each year. The new Port Lincoln Women's Wellbeing and Safety Centre has officially opened. The centre offering a safe place for women experiencing domestic violence.
There's so much support and there's so many people that can help them. We understand that it's a really hard step to take sometimes, and especially things like reporting domestic violence to the police. That's a really difficult thing for some people.
For women particularly to know that a site like this exists, where they can go in quietly and talk to people and get that information and assistance is really, really important.
The centre also partnering with the police and the Family Violence Legal Service team. After being closed last year due to COVID, Broken Hill City Library is bringing back its adult literacy program. Organisers are also on the hunt for volunteers, encouraging those who've helped in the past to apply.
Helping the community, one word at a time. Broken Hill's adult literacy program started when it was discovered there was a need for one. The city's library collaborating with a local legal service to bring it to life.
Cassandra Coleman from Warra Warra Legal Service pointed out that there was a need within Broken Hill for adult literacy tutors as there were no programs available within the town.
the service ready to return after a COVID-induced break last year. Aligned with the Reading and Writing Hotline program, the initiative also helps people with other issues like driver's licences.
It's tailor-made to the person that walks through the door, to their needs, whether they need a form filled in, whether they need help with literacy or numeracy, or just reading the newspaper.
With just 4 volunteers signed up, the program is looking for more help within the community. Online training starts on the 26th of February and will be run by respected adult literacy figure and TV personality Jo Medlin.
She's just wonderful, and seeing her in that series was really inspiring.
Joshua Mercer, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
The Port Pirie Cricket Association will be able to get more batters on the pitch this year after receiving a $3,000 grant. The money was granted by the Office of Sport and Recreation and will go towards covering the costs of the under-16s Rocky River side. The funds will also support all of Port Pirie's combined teams so they can continue to compete against other regions. Stay with us after the break. Our cricket experts will preview the weekend's local action, and Alex Sykes will join us with the latest weather details. Hello again. Time to preview the weekend's local cricket action. Here's our experts with their tips.
Hello and welcome to round 15 of Port Pirie cricket. This round sees the top 2 sides, Wandera and Props, set to clash at Port Oval. Both sides had big wins last round and come into this match in good form. I'm tipping Props. At Memorial Oval, it's Port Germain who need to beat Southport to keep their slim finals hopes alive, while Southport will be looking to bank this win and sew up their finals position. I'm tipping Port Germain.
Yeah, welcome to round 6 of the Super League / Port Augusta Cricket Association. This week we see West Augusta take on Central Stirling at Chinnery. This should be a good match. Westies have shown a slight bit of improvement, but I can't see them beating the grand final winners from last year, Central Stirling. The other match on Sunday sees Corn take on South Augusta. This should be a good match as well, but I think South might just come away with the biscuits here. So there's my 2 winners, Central Stirling and South Augusta.
Hello and welcome to EYRE Cricket Association. This round we're getting near the end of it now, and we're seeing Rupina taking on North Wyler in a top of the table clash. I think it's going to be a tight tussle, but I'm going to pick North Wyler in this one. Dave Miller's inclusion is going to be huge. In the second game of the round, we see West Wyler take on reigning premiers Central Wyler. I think Central is going to be too strong in this one. They're going to be eager to fight back after their disappointing loss last week.
Welcome to this week's Port Lincoln Cricket Tips. Firstly, congratulations to the first 11 and the Colts teams for winning the Henderson and Horgan Shields respectively. First game seen Southern Air and Todd River at Centenary Oval. Weather's been a bit juicy this week. This game might be played out at Wongaree yet. Going to expect Southern Air though to be too strong wherever this one's played. In the next game, Tasmans versus Waybacks. This is a battle for second spot on the ladder. Tasmans coming off a really big win last week. Waybacks coming off an abandoned match due to COVID. Going to tip Tasmans to get over the line. Thanks for listening to this week's Port Lincoln Cricket Tips.
Final minor round of cricket in Broken Hill this weekend with a tremendous finish to the season. Central take on North here at the Jubilee Oval under lights tomorrow night. Both teams playing for minor premiership. Very difficult to select. North should be advanced straight to the final. Other game at the Alma Oval, South take on West. South struggled most of the season, were fairly competitive last week against Central. They should probably give a better account for themselves, but I think West should prove too strong.
And with a look at the weekend weather forecast, it's good evening to Alex Sykes.
Thanks, John, and happy Friday. The weekend is finally here and we've got some beautiful conditions on the way. It was a mainly fine and mild day across our region today at 3 p.m. While it was partly cloudy and 23. Port Lincoln was cloudy and 21 and Broken Hill was sunny and 26. Looking further out across the region now. Port Augusta was 25, Port Pirie was partly cloudy and 26, Adelaide was cloudy and 23, Woodnor reached 24, Kadina and Cleve were both 20. Clare was 21. Cooper Pedy was sunny and 28 degrees. Taking a look at the satellite image now, low clouds scattering across southern South Australia in cool southerly winds in the wake of a front is only bringing a few light showers. Skies are clear in the north due to drier winds and an area of high pressure. Moving on to tomorrow's weather outlook now, and we'll start with the Gulf waters. South to southwesterly winds 15 to 20 knots, seas 1 to 1.5 metres, and south to southwesterly swells 1 to 2 metres. Port Lincoln will be partly cloudy tomorrow, both set to reach a high of 23 degrees. Cloud clearing in Woodna with 27 the top. While it'll be mostly sunny and 25, Port Augusta sunny and a high of 29 degrees. Mostly sunny in Kadina and 26. Sunny in Port Pirie, where it's set to get to 28. Clare is set to top 27 degrees. And Broken Hill will be sunny and 29. Sunday looking mainly fine too, mostly sunny in Port Augusta, set to reach 27. Port Lincoln, Woodna and Kadina all set to be partly cloudy and 24. Broken Hill sunny and 33. Port Pirie set to reach 26 degrees. Taking a look further through the week now, Port Lincoln will be cloudy and 21 degrees on Monday, 26 degrees in Port Pirie and Broken Hill. Cooper Pedy 29, partly cloudy in Woodna, Whyalla and Kadina, all set to reach 23. Sunny conditions on our way on Tuesday. It will be sunny in Port Augusta and Port Pirie, both 28. Woodna and Kadina will both be 26 degrees. Broken Hill 30 degrees and partly cloudy in Port Lincoln with 22. A sunny start to the week in store for us, John, and that's all the weather from me for tonight. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. It's back to you, John.
Thanks, Alex. And that's the local news for the week. Thanks for joining us. Just a reminder, you can also find us on Facebook, Twitter and YouTube. I'll have updates later, and Ruby will be with you Monday at 7 p.m. Have a great weekend. Good night.